Hello everyone, welcome to the course of Heating, Ventilation and Air Conditioning. So this is the last lecture for unit number 1. In this lecture, we will see the remaining part of ejector refrigeration cycle. That is, we will start with ejector refrigeration without pump, and we will see the rest part of rest different type of ejector refrigeration cycle. Also, we will see the advantages and disadvantages of ejector refrigeration cycle. I, Ankit Kumar Mishra, your instructor of this course. Let's start this course. First of all, talking about ejector refrigeration cycle. Okay, ejector refrigeration cycle without pump. Now talking about without pump, that means pump will not available in the cycle. Now if pump is not available in the cycle, then how could a steam or a refrigerant that can be supply a liquid refrigerant that can be supplied at high altitude? So for that purpose we are using always a gravity action force. Now we know that due to gravity a high altitude refrigerant can come downward. Now this is that we can utilize in this type of cycle. Compressor, evaporator and generator are at different height on this type of cycle. Now this is the difference. Obviously generator at the lower part. Why? Because when generator convert the liquid refrigerant into gaseous refrigerant, or we can say that when the generator convert the liquid refrigerant or liquid liquid water into a steam, then steam can move upward by itself, okay, due to pressure difference. Now it can go upward. Now the motive steam, obviously the motive vapor that can be supplied by the boiler, motive vapor that can be supplied by the boiler is coming from this point. After evaporation, we know that the liquid refrigerant or liquid water steam, liquid water is converted into saturated vapor after evaporator. So vapor will also can move upward, and then after in ejector, this is nothing but a ejector. In ejector both can mix, and then after from the same pressure level it can be transferred to the condenser. In condenser heat is rejected. Now over here there is a gaseous form, so it can goes directly to the condenser. Now from condenser, after condenser it will convert it from vapor to liquid. So condenser will be at the you can say at the highest point. The level of condenser is at the top. So liquid refrigerant can, without use of uh, pump, it can fall down directly by using a gravity action. Now that liquid refrigerant is directly passing to the generator and the evaporator. This is how this particular system works. So what are the advantages of this system? Although there is a very less work consuming capacity of pump, but the maintenance in the pump is very high. So we can eliminate pump so that we can reduce the maintenance of the system. Fluid passing through from the ejector to condenser. Obviously fluid is passing from ejector to condenser, and due to gravity action from generator to gravity without pump. So without pump, I can already explain you. Without pump, the steam from water from condenser, at the outlet of condenser there must be uh, water that is directly come to the generator. That's all about this ejector refrigeration system that is used without a pump. Now this is something like absorption system. If you remember an absorption system, in absorption system from generator it goes to the condenser, and condenser there is a throttling valve which comes to the evaporator. Now from evaporator in absorption system, simple absorption system, from evaporator it directly goes to the absorber. But what happened over here, it goes to the ejector. Now from ejector the motive stream from the absorber mix with the, this arrow is wrong, this arrow is something like this, no, this arrow is right, okay. From ejector, after mixing with the motive stream comes from the generator. Over here there is a motive stream. The motive streams mix with the ejector and then it goes to the absorber where it absorbed, and by where there will be a solution, weak solution that can be transferred through the pump. There is a heat exchanger added over here, and then pump it goes to the generator, and from generator the strong solution is uh, two different ammonia. Over here there will be a water, and from this system there will be ammonia. So ammonia is come over here and mixed in the water, so the strong solution now become a weak solution, and weak solution is passed through the generator, and from generator again the strong solution of ammonia is passing over here. When you supply a heat in the generator, obviously ammonia has a low boiling point, so ammonia will vaporize first and then ammonia move to the condenser. The rest water particles will come drop down through this line and come to the absorber. Now what is the role of heat exchanger? Now in role of, we can see the role of heat exchanger is, now this is having a high temperature, this is having a high temperature, so heat will flow from this to this line to this line. So heat is removed from this line and supplied to this line, so the temperature of this line will first increase, temperature of this line will increase, and then it moves to the generator. But the temperature increased in this line is not up to the boiling point of the ammonia, it should be below boiling point of ammonia. Then it's supplied to the generator where heat is added, so that ammonia go above its boiling point and vaporize and go to the condenser. The rest water moisture particle will come down. This is how the working of vapor absorption system in combination with ejector. This is about the ejector ejector absorption refrigeration system. Now coming to the combined compression refrigeration air conditioning system, we have see that in combined compression refrigeration system there must be a compressor. So booster compressor will be used in this system. Now from evaporator it goes to the booster compressor where it raises the pressure of steam coming from the evaporator to a certain level. From generator there is a high pressure steam comes from to the ejector through nozzle, it is expanded and comes to the pressure and temperature at the evaporator pressure, that evaporator pressure, that is that the pressure that is exit at the booster compressor. So from eject motive steam, this is the motive steam going to be expand to the pressure which is equal to the exit pressure of the booster compressor, and then after there is going to be mixing, after mixing and there will be a diffusion, and after diffusion the condenser pressure will be reached. So that mixture is going to be supplied to the condenser, and from condenser again the mass, some mass, m1 mass, let's say m1 mass is going to be drawn and passing to the throttle valve, and the refrigerating cycle will be completed like this. So if we say this is a point number 1, this must be a point number 2, again this must be a point number 3, here it will be a point number 4, sorry, this is point number 1, this is point number 1 2 3 4, and over here 5. Now talking about after condenser, it is a point number 6 where there is a liquid water, and that liquid water is pumped to the generator, and after generator heat is added to the water, and that water is converted into steam, that is nothing but our motive steam, and that motive steam is going to the ejector. And this is how the working of this combined compression refrigeration system is worked. Now next is Multi-component ejector refrigeration system. Next slide. Now multi-component ejector refrigeration system means there is a multi-ejector. Now if you see, there is a two ejector utilized over here. One ejector, the first is acting like a compressor. So instead of compressor that is used in previous type, instead of that compressor we are using our what you say ejector. Now what happened over here, when there is a condenser, now this condenser basically doesn't provide us a fully developed liquid water. There is a saturated liquid water, and when you pumped that saturated liquid water, when we know that in pump we supply work, the some part of that liquid is converted into a steam after pumping. So that steam is passes as a motive steam number one. Motive steam 1, it passes as a motive steam 1, and that is basically combined with a evaporator steam. So that and the combination of both is supplied as a uh, mixing steam or a source steam with a original motive steam, that is motive steam number 2. Motive steam 2. Now this motive steam is basically created by generator having a very high pressure. So in ejector, it pressure is going to be fall down to the pressure that is the exit pressure of the ejector number 1, and then after mixing it passes to the condenser. From condenser again there's some mass, m1 mass, let's say m1 mass is going to be drawn from that condenser and passing through the throttle bulb. In this way we get the evaporative or refrigerating effect at evaporator. This is what happened in the multi-component ejector refrigeration system. Now the transcritical, now we came to the transcritical ejector refrigeration system. First of all, we have to understand in transcritical refrigeration system, now there is no steam, we are using CO2. Okay, now CO2 is used. Now there is a separator used in this system. Let's talk about point number 1. From point number 1, now here the CO2 is going to be as a source system, and that is going to be supply over here. Then after gas from the, this is our motive steam. Okay, this is our motive gas. Now motive gas is going to be mixed with the CO2, and then it's applied to the separator. From separator, the motive gas, now you can see as a steam is separated from this area, and CO2 is separated to this area. Okay, now CO2 is separated to this area and steam is separated to this area. Now steam is going to be added at this point, and CO2 is added to this point. From this point we can say that from this point we can say that the from throttle valve it is coming, its temperature will be fall down and supplied to the evaporator. Now this is our cycle number 1. Now coming to the gas cycle, what happened, let's say the compressor having a very high temperature and pressure, that pressure is going to be passed in gas cooler where the temperature is fall down, and after that it comes to the as a motive steam in the ejector. Now before compressor it is covered that the after separator the steam having a steam is supplied over here, and that steam is going to be compressed. That steam is going to be compressed from this line. This is not a correct way. This is not a correct way. This line is not available in this system. This is wrong. So steam separator, it goes to the compressor, and from compressor high pressure gas cooler, and then it comes to the motive steam. And from here they say CO2 there is a throttling valve, throttling M2 evaporator, and the system is working. This is the use of transcritical cycle, how the transcritical cycle in combination with uh, steam work in transcritical ejector refrigeration system. The biggest drawback of this system is CO2 having a very high affinity toward moisture content. Now when CO2 is having very high affinity toward moisture content, that's why we are using the separator. The role of separator is just to separate the CO2 from the steam. So it eliminate CO2 and it's basically separate the CO2 from the steam, because at this point At this point, CO2 and steam will combine each other very strongly bonded. Okay, so this is about transcritical ejector refrigeration system. Now next is solar powered ejector refrigeration system. This is the same ejector refrigeration system that I described in a simple ejector refrigeration system. Only difference is in generator, or you can say boiler, the source is nothing but a solar tank collector. So whatever be the heat collected from the solar tank, that is utilized to supply the heat to the boiler. That heat is supplied to the boiler. The heat, that heat is basically, the source of that heat is basically a solar tank, solar collector tank. So this system is non-conventional type of system. You can say that the motive steam is generated without expense of any conventional energy. We can supply heat, and then that then motive steam can be produced, and that motive steam is transferred to the ejector, which is going to be mixed with the refrigerant that is coming from the evaporator section. After mixing both the steam, it will goes to the condenser, and from condenser again there is a part of water that is going to be collected and supplied to the throttle valve. After throttle valve, its temperature will fall down very drastically, and then it's supplied to the evaporator, where heat is absorbed by the steam, or heat is absorbed by the water, and the water will convert it into steam, and that steam is going to be run. Then this cycle is nothing but a refrigeration cycle. Talking about this cycle, after condenser, the water is pumped to again the boiler, and boiler we know that the heat is collected from the solar system, and that heat is utilized to convert that water into steam, and that is utilized further as a motive steam. So this is the working of solar power ejector refrigeration system. So if you see this system, this is just a simple system. The utilization of solar power is used uh, over here, and this system is also considered as a non-conventional system. Talking about multi-evaporator compression system, now we are moving toward multi-compression system. So multi-evaporator compression system having a multi-evaporator. Now let's say it can be a 2 evaporator, 3 evaporator, 4, 5, any number of evaporator. Let's say we are having a 3 evaporator number 1, 2, 3. Now first evaporator, the basic and the very high capacity evaporator, transfer the uh, steam directly to the ejector as a motive steam. This is the point that we have to understand. The steam from the evaporator number 1 is directly to the ejector. Whatever be the steam coming from evaporator number 2, that is as a source steam, and those two steam having a different pressure. Obviously we can understand that the steam evaporator number 1 is at the high pressure, so we can say that the pressure of evaporator 1 is greater than pressure of evaporator 2, and it is greater than pressure of evaporator 3. So high pressure evaporator is going to be utilized as a motive steam, and then evaporator, whatever be the steam coming from the evaporator number 2, that is going to be the mix with the motive steam. After mixing and diffusion process, we will get our next state point 14, and that steam is supplied as again as a motive steam, and whatever be the steam coming from the evaporator number 3, that is utilized as a source steam, and going to be mix over here and again diffuse. The pressure will again rise, and then it supplied to the compressor, where the final condenser pressure will be achieved. Now after getting the condenser pressure, the steam will supply to the condenser, where it convert the steam into water. Then after that, water is supplied to the expansion valve. Then expansion valve, it will become a very low pressure according to the pressure of the evaporator. Then that steam is going to individual evaporator and supplied, uh, and uh, and absorb the heat from the refrigerating space. So obviously the drop of pressure in expansion valve 3 is very less, uh, in comparison with evaporator number 2 and evaporator number 1. So this is how this system is worked in multi-evaporator compression system. Now talking about ejector refrigeration system with additional pump. Now earlier I have described when there is no pump. Now this type said that when there is a more pump is available in the system. So this, if you see, this is not a ejector, this is a jet pump. This is a jet pump. Now jet pump basically increase the pressure drastically, and we can say that this pump is used as a pressure riser. We can say that pressure riser. So if, first of all, from generator obviously we get our motive steam. So that motive steam is going to be transferred to the ejector. Now the source vapor is coming from the evaporator. That is the basic principle. Now these two are going to be mixed and supplied to the jet pressure, so that it will increase the pressure to the condenser pressure, and after that it will act like a condenser. Now jet pressure, basically the construction of jet pressure is similar to that of ejector, so it also required a motive steam. So motive steam is coming from, for this jet pump, the motive steam coming from the pump that is developed a high pressure above the pressure of condenser. So that pressure is coming from this part, and then the pressure is going to be decreased in the what you say, a nozzle. Then after it going to the mix with the uh, steam that coming from out the ejector, and then the mixing part will going to the condenser where heat will be loose to the surrounding. Now after that it going to be divided into two part. One part is going to be the pumped and the other part is going to be the expand. The expansion part is directly going to the evaporator, so that we are getting our refrigerating effect over here, and the pumped part having a high uh, pressure. The part of that pump part is supplied to the jet pump, and the remaining part will be supplied to the generator as our pure motive steam. So this is the working. You can understand it very easily, because you are now understand how is the working of ejector system. Ejector system always having one motive steam, one source steam. They are going to be mixed and diffused, where the pressure of the system is first, the pressure of the motive steam is first dropped drastically, then the mixing pressure will, after mixing, the pressure of the fluid will going to be increased. Now that part is going to be utilized. Okay, so coming to the next part, that is nothing but a combined power and ejector refrigeration system. This is the typical diagram for a combined power and ejector refrigeration system. That means the power system is also utilized over here, and ejector system is also utilized over here. Now coming to the first part, now this is part number one. Over here the heat is flowing from this direction to this direction. So from point number one, the heat is added. Now heated, superheated, this point is always a superheated point. Point number one is the superheated state. Now this is already a superheated, this is a saturated state, sorry, this is the saturated state. Now saturated state steam, it will be adding, if you added a heat to a saturated steam, then it will goes to the superheated steam. Now this superheated steam is transferred to the turbine, where power is developed, and after turbine, that steam is utilized as a source steam. After turbine, it is utilized as a source steam. Sorry, motive steam. After using turbine, it is act as a motive steam, and that motive steam is transferred to the ejector. This is our ejector, and after ejector, the whatever after ejector, the steam is supplied to the heat exchanger, where the preheating of that saturated steam is done, and after that it goes to the condenser, where there is a conversion of steam into water. Now that water is going to, the part of water is going to be pumped to the preheater, and the part of that water is going to the thermo expansion valve, thermostatic expansion valve, that is utilized as a in evaporator, that is utilized in a evaporator uh, as a cooling medium. That water will transfer it heat to the room. If you are using air, if you are trying to make air conditioning, that can be utilized for a room, for a cooling, if you supply the air to this part, then it will act like a air conditioning system. If you want to utilize this water as a cooling medium for the water, now if you install a tank over here, then that tank will be chilled, the water inside the tank will be chilled, and that water can be utilized for any purpose as a chilled water. Now next, that after evaporator, obviously it goes to the as a vapor source steam in a uh, ejector. So coming toward this point, after the pump, now a part of this cycle is described. Now this part, the pump is basically pumped the liquid steam to the preheater where it gain heat, and preheated water is supplied to the heat source. So you can consider this part as a boiler. So you will say this part as a boiler. So this is nothing but a boiler to turbine, turbine to ejector, from ejector it's again come to the condenser, from condenser it goes to the pump, and it is like the power cycle. This is nothing but your power cycle. So this is basic structure. Don't be frightened about the complexity. If you see that there is nothing, one is a refrigeration, ejector refrigeration system, and another is a power cycle. That's all. One thing that you have to remember always, that after generator it will always provide a motive steam. So motive steam directly come to motive steam come to the ejector, and the source steam of the ejector is always provided by the evaporator, that we are seen in the ejector refrigeration system, entire ejector refrigeration system in last lecture and in this lecture also. Now coming to the next part, that is refrigeration system with integrated ejector. Now if we are talking about integrated ejector, that means again we see that same configuration, nothing else. If you really see this part, this is nothing but a boiler. This is your boiler. So from boiler, you know that there we always generating a motive steam. So motive steam is generated and motive steam is transferred to there over there. This is a motive steam that will be transferred from this time. You know that from the evaporator it is always come to the uh, as a source system to the ejector. So if you see from the evaporator, there is a line coming from the valve. This is not an expansion valve, this is just a simple valve. Okay, don't be confused about confuse it with a expansion valve. This is just a simple valve. Through valve and through a booster, it directly comes to the as a source system. So after mixing these two, we know that it will transfer to the condenser. So in condenser again, steam is converted into liquid. So sorry, liquid water. Now over there, a liquid water, a part of this liquid water is pumped to the generator. In this way we can see that our power cycle, a part of power cycle is completed, and the part of that condenser is obviously coming to the expansion valve, and from the expansion valve it going to the evaporator. Now there is one more thing that is attached over here. Now here generator always uses fossil fuels, or you can say you see the solar system through which the heat is given to the generator. But over here what we are doing, we are using compressor. A part of refrigerant or steam is going by using valve, we can control that steam and passing to the compressor, so that its pressure become very high and its temperature become very high. Now that high temperature uh, vapor is utilized to heat the motive steam, so there is no separate different uh, energy that is going to be supplied in the generator. Already there is a compressor, so we supply only the input, electrical input to the compressor, not to the generator. Okay, so electrical input is supplied to the compressor, which is used to supply that amount of heat to the generator, and this part is covered. Again after supplying the heat, it goes to the condenser where it converted from vapor to liquid, and that After expansion valve matching with the pressure of evaporator, it mix with the liquid, liquid plus vapor, liquid plus vapor refrigerant or vapor steam, uh, mix with the liquid plus vapor steam and coming to the evaporator, where it collect the heat from a room or refrigerating space, any type of refrigerating space. Either you can say you can utilize this system for air conditioning, you can utilize this system for a refrigerator. Okay, so this is how the refrigeration system with the integrated ejector works. That's all about the ejector refrigeration system. Now we will discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of ejector refrigeration system. Now talking about the advantages of ejector refrigeration system, now this ERS basically stand for ejector refrigeration system. This ERS is stand for ejector refrigeration system. Ejector refrigeration system, if you see, that always uses low grade of energy. That means it can not be a stand-alone system. It cannot be a single unit that can be utilized for the purpose of refrigeration and air conditioning. It should be a stand-alone system. That means it can be a combination, or the for the peak load you can utilize this system in combination with vapor compression system or other system. That means you have to utilize the vapor compression system, as well as you can combine this system for achieve the better efficiency, or you can achieve it, you can, by using this system in combination with your vapor compression system, you can save your energy. Now there is no moving part in this system. That is the very much advantage of this system. uh, then after in a ejector refrigeration system without pump can reduce power input to the system. Now since pump is not available in that system, so that the power input will become less, so we can say that these are the advantages of this system. What is the disadvantage of the system? As I said, this system cannot be utilized single. This system having very low COP, so it will be always utilized in combination with other system. uh, then after maximum energy loss takes place in the mixing chamber. The in ejector there is a mixing process, and in mixing there is a very large amount of energy that has been lost. So that is the drawback of this system. That are the disadvantages of this system. I hope you understand the advantages and disadvantages of this system. So in this lecture, what we discuss is the type of remaining type of the ejector refrigeration system. We also discussed about multi-compression ejector refrigeration system and the different types, and integrated system, solar system, and all these things that is utilized in, that can be utilized in different types of ejector refrigeration system that has been cleared in this session. Advantages and disadvantages of ejector refrigeration system, that is also I summarized in summary. I can say that I can elaborated what are the advantages and disadvantages of ejector refrigeration system. So that is all about unit number 1. So we have completed our unit number 1 here over here. Talking about question point of view from this unit, there is a large number of questions that is going to be arise in this unit. First of all, what is actual vapor compression cycle? Then after coming to the ejector, what is the ejector? Or coming to the transcritical cycle, what is the properties of which fluid or which substance act as a refrigerant in transcritical cycle? What is the properties of that substance? That means what is the properties of CO2? Then after they can ask you what is transcritical cycle, what are the different types of transcritical cycle. In the types of transcritical cycle, they can ask you any type of transcritical cycle. Then we come to the ejector. What is ejector? What are the different types of ejector? Why, how the ejector can be used? Ejector refrigeration system can be used with the absorption system, or many questions can be arises with the combination of these things. Can be asked from the university point of view, or that can be answered by you for this point. At this point you should able to answer all these questions, because you understand, if you understand all these things you can answer easily. That's all for today. I hope you understand the session, you'll understand the complete unit number 1 as per our content. That's all about today's session. I hope you like it. Thank you.